welcome in. I need to adjust just a little bit, like I always do. I can't tell what it looks like until I hit that button. And let's hope I don't knock things over today. I'm going to get it pulled up on a screen down here because we are live here on YouTube. Okay, I'm going to refresh because maybe it'll show up on this screen. I want to make sure we look and sound okay. Everything is looking good. Why is it not? Nope, that's not what I want to do. Hang on just a second, guys. Oh, we're going to get there. Why is it not showing me that we are live? There it is. Oh my goodness, it was delayed. Okay, hopefully you guys are getting some notifications and able to hop in, and I still feel like we're crooked. Maybe we're not. Maybe we look okay. Let me know if it looks okay on your end. If I haven't introduced myself, my name is Joey. My page here on YouTube is called Created in Awe with Joey, and we do all kinds of crafts that I hope inspire you to explore and express your creativity. You can see some examples behind me of some of the things I do. A lot of this was done over on Facebook. I have a Facebook page where I have, for the past 4 years, done a lot of crafting. Fairly new to kicking into the YouTube game, so you don't see as much here, but you're welcome to go find me on Facebook. After we're done, I'll be adding all the information of what we've used in the description of the video, and I will put a link to my Facebook page in there as well. I ran out of time, didn't get to do that before we started here this morning. So let's see, I don't see anybody coming in live yet. That's okay. I'm going to pop this over to my Facebook page and let them know we are live, just in case anybody sees that and wants to come over. And we're going to get started. Make sure that posts. And I'm going to come back. I didn't check my sound. Let me check my sound. Yes, we're good. We're good. We're good. Oh, I do see some people coming in now. I see Marlene and Peggy. Good morning. Welcome in. Glad you could be here live. We are going to do, oh, I have this on top. Really, what I want to show you first is this is a turntable. They call it a Lazy Susan. I've always grown up calling it a Lazy Susan, but I've also been informed that that is a little bit offensive. And I definitely don't ever want to offend anybody. So I'm calling it a turntable. Whatever you guys want to call it is fine with me. This is felt on the very bottom of this, so I don't want to tear it up, but I need to get the label off of it. So we're going to get started with that first, and then I'll show you what we're doing to it. Hi, Deborah. How are you? It doesn't. Okay, I'll try my heat and see if that will loosen it. Typically, these stickers come off pretty easily. That one needs a little bit of heat. Usually helps. There we go. Get this one going. Let's get some heat onto that. I don't plan to paint the bottom of it, at least not with the color that we're painting. I will seal it because if I'm going to use this at my kitchen table, of course, the kitchen table could get spills and you might have a little bit of a mess get underneath it. Or hands, you know, grubby hands touching it, all the good stuff there happens. There we go. Now it's coming loose. I don't even know if the heat really helped. I just had to get underneath it a little bit better. There. I'm glad that this comes with a felt piece on the bottom. That way it doesn't scratch up the table. But the back side of this part, I'll tape this off and I will give this a spray coat with a clear sealer. Okay, I'm not going to paint the bottom of it. I'm just going to seal it. And I'll also seal the top of it with, because anything you do to something like this is going to need a good sealing coat. So, okay, this is how it came. And there's more stickers up here on top that I need to get off. It says, hello, fall. If you can't see it, I hope someone told me you can get the comments off the screen by going to the 3 dots somewhere on there. I don't know. And I'm sure it looks different on a phone than it does on a computer screen. So I can't tell you exactly what to do. If you have any trouble, put it in the chat because I think that there are some people here that will be happy to help you out. And I'm going to try to get this label off. So I'm changing this up, not because it's not cute. I think it is very cute, like it is. I would still seal this because this is a laminate over MDF, and if you're going to be using this a lot, or especially have food or liquid near it, you want it sealed. There's one sticker. I see other people coming in. I see my friend Anita is here. Hello, good morning, good morning. And I can't read this name, but hello, if you are from another country, I hope that you can understand what we're saying. I don't know if you have a translator set up, but welcome in. And we're going to get the Spin Me sticker off. We don't need any stickers on this, as we are going to paint it and add a cute design to it. So I didn't want mine to, on the iPad, just hit the X. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Peggy. Hi, Miss Constance. How are you? I didn't want a fall theme for this. This is a really, to me, a more substantial piece, and I'm not going to put this as a part of my seasonal decor that I change out, okay? I want this out all year. I might even use it in here in my craft room. I'm not sure, but I want a generic design. But going into the fall season, I do have kind of the fall vibe going. So I picked a stencil that can be used for a fall theme. It can definitely fit your fall theme, but I think it's perfect for year round. So first thing I want, oh, I'll show that to you. It's called Gratitude. Okay, gratitude turns what we have into enough, which I think it's something I try to live by year round. And I think it's going to fit perfectly on here. But what I want to do first is I want to paint this, and I'm going to go with black. I just think that's going to make a statement on my table. Both of my dining room and kitchen tables are a wood tone, so I think the black will stand out. I do a lot with like the plaster color, the creamy white color, so I thought let's change it up a little bit, kind of make something stand out a little bit more. Good morning. Hello, hello. I'm glad you guys are saying hi to each other. So all I want to do is give this a coat of matte, like a chalk paint. This is not my standard brand. I usually use Waverly, but I have a bigger bottle of this one. It is a chalk paint. It's by Martha Stewart. It's called Vintage Decor Paint. I got it on clearance, if you can see the little pink sticker. And I thought I might as well use this since I have more of it. It is a chalk finish. So you can use any color, any kind of paint you like. In fact, one of my very favorites is the Waverly in moss and have that green tone. I love that. I really do. But I've done a lot of that too, so I'm kind of changing it up. And then the stencil is going to be super simple. We'll go through that process. Edie is here. How are you, sweet friend? I'm glad you have found me over here on Facebook. So I think the first thing I want to do is stabilize this so it's not turning while we're working. So let's see if a couple of pieces of painter's tape will hold it steady. Which way does this go? It goes this way. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Put it right across. It's painter's tape, so it should come off pretty easily. And that's too long. Let's rip it short so that it doesn't get in the way of our painting. There we go. And then we'll do another piece going this way, and hopefully that'll hold it steady. Hi, Amy Helper. How are you? All right, that should be long enough too. So hopefully this will keep it steady. There, don't want it too long. Oop. I don't want to turn it too much. There we go. Things are rattling. Oh no. I don't want things to rattle. So all we need is some paint, possibly a little sandpaper, and some stenciling supplies that I'll go over in a little while. So let's get the paint going. I'm going to use a sponge dauber. The idea is I will be distressing this a little bit to bring a little bit of that wood tone out. It's not necessarily wood, and I don't know if we'll get to see the grain. Depends on how it goes with this being a laminate. But I also want to make sure I cover up all of this design, and I don't want to go through the trouble of sanding it off. You probably could. So have I opened this yet? I've had this forever. Yes, I've opened it a little bit. Okay. That's looking pretty thick. Oh, I know. Like I said, I've had this for a little bit, and I want to make sure that it's usable. We shall see. I may be switching over to my Waverly because it's newer. Dr. Z. Oh, you like this shirt? Thank you. I don't know your name. And I can't read it. Glasses are on my head. You may have to tell me that more than once. Oh, CBRZ. Okay. Welcome in. Hi, Gracie. Glad you could be here. Yeah, this is one we made with one of our Magnolia stencils also. Let's see how this paint does. I'm going to use a sponge because it'll go on a little bit thinner and I can build it up. But I definitely need to... Oh, I want to do the edges first. Okay, let's do the edges first. Let's do the edge close to me. Okay. Because I'll be doing the top, and then if I come back and do the edge of it, got it underneath, dang it. If I come back and do the edge of it like I am here, it makes a mess of the top, and I don't want to have to then come back in and fix it. So, let's rotate this slightly. Keep going all the way around. Remember, it is MDF, and I didn't seal this. A lot of times you'll hear me talk about sealing my wood with a coat of clear spray. I didn't do that this time, mainly because of time constraints. I was trying to get all of the parts and pieces put together, and I ran short on time. So giving it a spray seal coat will help if you have the time to do that. And if this isn't 100% coverage, it's okay. Remember, I'm going to go with a distressed look. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see how we can get some of this. Okay, I want to get the words covered. If I have a little bit of wood grain showing through here and there, it's okay. So let's cover all the words and the letters. Okay. And then we're going to just swipe across and make sure we get the other areas generally painted. If I leave a little bit here and there showing, it's okay. Get this covered. And we're going to swipe. So, there. Get this covered and swipe. I'm getting just little bits of paint on here at a time if I can. I'm first putting the paint while it's heavy on my sponge on the areas I want covered. There we go. And then we are just going across. I'm going with the wood grain. So I do have a few areas that I missed on purpose. Let's see. I really want to get near the edge so that I don't see this line from me having done the edge first. So I'm covering up that line. There. Okay, let me swipe over the thick areas. I'm seeing a little bit of the words. So let's hang out here for a second. Let's do some drying. See if those words come through much more. If they do, then I may just go with a full second coat. I don't want to do that. Oh, yes, thank you, Peggy. If you can give it a like, and if you want to subscribe so you can come back and see more, I would appreciate it. I believe if you you can also set your notifications for YouTube to tell you when those you have subscribed to go live or post videos. Let's get this dry. If we can go with a single coat, this shouldn't be a very long project, a very, detailed project. It should go pretty quickly. Got to get the edges dry too, so that when we are ready to stencil, I don't have to worry about any wet paint getting in the way. Uh-oh. Can someone help Miss Stevenson, Bev, know how to get the comments off the screen if they want to? I don't know what device you're looking at, Bev. Are you on a phone? Are you on a computer? I think on a phone they said there's 3 dots somewhere. Try tapping that and see if it gives you the option. Okay, now that it's not wet, it doesn't seem that the design underneath is showing that strongly. Let's see what happens. Let's get the rest of this dry. You're on a phone. Take a look. Tell me if you can find 3 dots. Tell me if that helps you. Gotta make sure this is dry before we decide to do any distressing. And for sure before we paint. I am going to distress the edges. I want some of the edges showing. We're getting there. Still a little wet. I'm looking at it at different angles because I can still see the design a little bit. I'm going to lay my stencil on it in a second just to see if that's going to cover it up enough. If not, what I'll probably do is just do a second coat over the design area. So how has your Tuesday been? Everybody, I guess you made it successfully through your Monday. The week is chugging along. All right. It feels mostly dry, maybe a little cool over here. What are you all crafting right now? Are you doing your fall designs? Are you doing your Christmas? Are you getting started on that? And are you doing any everyday decor? Because that's what this is going to be, is an everyday decor piece for me. Definitely fits with a fall theme. Get that little glop off. We need some more drying along the edge for sure. Okay, and I have a second question. So after you've answered that one, I really want everybody, even on replay, I want you to tell me, what are you doing right now? This is September 10th, 2024. So if you see this very soon, I'm just trying to get a gauge of what you might want to see more of. And I want to know, my second question after you answer that. Yes, this is a Dollar Tree. They call it a Lazy Susan. Today I'm calling it a turntable. Whatever you want to call it. There's still wet spots. So I want to know, when you're doing your seasonal crafting, especially Christmas, is it for gifts or is it for your own home decor? I want to know. Or are you crafting for, like, do you do vendor events and sell what you make? I'm checking. Yep, that's wet right there. Tell me all the stuff. You want to see more Christmas. Okay, Linda, are you looking for things that are for you for decorating for Christmas, or are they for gift ideas? Still wet right there. This is taking a while. I think I need to turn it a little bit and get a direct angle going. Get that dry. It doesn't want to dry. It's really thick there, I guess. You do it for yourself and for gift giving. Okay. Peggy's working on pumpkins. You have several ideas. Awesome. I also, because I got this yesterday at Dollar Tree. Whew, God, that noise just fills my ears. I also picked up their stacking pumpkins. This is a $5 piece from the plus area of Dollar Tree. The stacking pumpkins are also a $5 piece, and I am super excited. I'm going to have to spray paint those, though. That probably won't be a live video. Okay. Let's check. Where'd my stencil go? Oh my goodness, did it fall? Yeah, it fell right here. Okay. So this is really pretty much going to cover up anything that would be showing from underneath. Might be a little bit of the design right in here, because it does go right there, but I don't think it's going to be that obvious. It's just the wreath part. So I'm going to go with this coat, and we are going to distress. I'm still going to leave this paint out just in case I need to touch anything up, but I wanted this to be as thin as I could make it so that we can distress it. So we're going to start with the edges. I am going to distress the edges, not all of them. And I don't really want this turning. If you missed the beginning, I did tape it so that it doesn't rotate on me as we're working. Everything else is jiggling on this table. I'm not sanding all the way around. I am hitting spots and I am missing some spots. Okay, now let's get, I want a dry paper towel. If I use a wet wipe to clean off my sanding, that activates the paint and it might smear it. So I'm just going to use a dry cloth and see how it's looking. I'm going to hit the areas a little heavier that I did sand. I think I'm going to go ahead and do like the edge portion too. Let's see if I can get it to sand. It's pretty thick on the edge. And the edge, like I said before, is MDF. There we go. We got a little bit sanded off of that edge. So I'll do a little bit more, and then probably I'll wait until after we're done and get a heavier grit sandpaper. This is a 180, I think, which is not very heavy grit. Let me see. It tells me 120 grit. I need a heavier grit, and I don't have a heavier grit here. So I will wait to do the outside edges. It's taking a lot more effort. Get some of that paint off. So I'll do the outside edges later. Let's work on the top and these edges in here, because it's coming off pretty easily with just some light sanding and a couple of. Okay, now let's get some of the top part of the edges done too. I'm going to go from the top at not really a 45, more like maybe a 60-degree angle, a 30-degree angle, so it shows more on the top. Just in the areas I've already sanded. Okay, now let's do these areas I missed. Oh, I don't want the words. That's where I'm going to come back and touch up if I accidentally take paint off of the words. See right there. Turning it definitely lighter. words right in here. Let's give it a little sand in here. Oh, bring it down a little bit. Okay. And come over these edges and bring those up a little more on top. Whoops. This right here is going to be good. Here. Just using my dry paper towel. I like that. Let's get this edge here. I'm missing some comments. Let me see what questions you all have. Still doing Halloween in autumn. I have some Halloween ideas coming, Constance. Della has moments of panic. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You got the easels. Awesome. I need to do my easels. Now you have to order more. You can change them up. You don't have to keep them with the same stuff in them all year, right? Are you using it for your seasonal decor? I'm going to get this area right here. Now you can see some of the white letters. Let me see if I can take a little bit more of the paint off with my wet wipe. The dust. I'm going kind of toward the center. I think I want more taken off right here. Come on. There. I think that's good. I'm avoiding this area because of all the words, and we're going to be stenciling over it anyway. Okay, let's touch up. Let's get just a tiny bit of paint on our sponge and go over these little areas that we exposed the white words. I'm doing a really light swipe motion so that if it has distressing next to it, it doesn't look like a blob of paint. Get all these. There. I think that looks okay. There's a little bit of white down here. There. I think we got all the white. There's a little bit of white right here, but it's actually kind of sanded off. So there's a spot there for sure. I think we're looking good right here. I think we're looking good. Let's leave it like that. Let's go ahead and put this in our water jar. Not in the coffee, but in the water jar. Used it for your fall riser. Other places you needed one. Ah, yeah, they are going to come in super handy. What Peggy is talking about is the rust-covered cottage wood kits. I've done a few here on YouTube, and one of the kits that we have out right now is actually not like a cute little kit. It's display stands, and I don't have any out that are like it. But they're the wood pieces that come out and they lock into each other, kind of like this, okay? And it's like a little easel, a little mini easel. Really, really handy. Okay, let's get some of this dust. Now, let's make sure this is dry. It really doesn't matter overall what direction you do, except I kind of like my wood grain. I painted it with the wood grain. I sanded it with the wood grain, so I want it going to side to side. I probably have the original image upside down, which is not a big deal. Can't even tell where that was, hardly. But I have a couple of wet spots I need to dry. Oh, I've got to put my glasses back on to see what you're saying. My eyes have gotten so much worse lately. Oh, Peggy's going to do a busted canvas. Those are really cool. I like looking at those. Make sure this is dry. Your girls like to decorate for Halloween, so you try to make them something cute. Oh, you know what you have to make? You got to make our little smell my feet ghost. That one is so super cute. And pretty soon I need to do that wood kit that is the witch's hat wood round. I think that one. I like the cutesy Halloween. I don't like as much scary Halloween. But I have a decoupage project coming up soon. I don't know if it's going to be on here or if it's going to be on Facebook. All right, I think we're dry. These were the last ones I touched up, so just making sure. All right, let's do our stencil. We're using the Gratitude stencil if you missed the beginning. I gotta check to see if it's gonna pull my paint off. So let's give it a press and then lift up. There's a little bit of paint coming off. So let's fuzz this. You're always better off fuzzing your stencil if you ever have a question about whether the sticky part is going to lift your paint or if it is going to, this is turning on me big time, if it's going to be hard to remove, okay? I have used this one and I used it on fabric. And once I use it on fabric, a lot of times that creates enough fuzz on the stencil that I don't have to fuzz it as often. But I must have either really cleaned this one well or it was very sticky to start with. It's needing a little bit of fuzz added to it. I'm usually pretty lucky when I wash my stencils that I get a lot of that fuzz off the back. If you just leave it, you know, once you've cleaned it, last thing I do is I flip it upside down with the sticky side up, and with wet hands and a little bit of water in the sink, I swipe it from the center of the stencil toward the outside edges, and that extra fuzz just usually rolls right off. And it just helps make your stencil last longer so you can use it more times. If you have not seen me or seen the Magnolia Design Co. stencils before, that's how they're made. They're made to be reusable. So they get washed with water. You can use our stencil cleaner if you have some stubborn cause a problem. That was a phone call coming in. Water, or if you need to, you can use a drop or two of Dawn dish soap. So once I get my stencil laid the way I want it, and I want to make sure it's going straight, I have some, so smooth out, yeah. Hang on. Hang on. What is going on? Hold tight, guys. I don't want to stop. Are we back? Okay, we're back. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry if you're still here. Thank you for sticking with it. I think what happened is it went to voicemail and my whole phone just like stopped functioning, the video part of it. So I apologize. I didn't really say anything else except that I was gonna get the air bubbles out, but I need to readjust it a little bit more first. All right, so to get the air bubbles out, thank you for sticking with me. Start in the middle, smooth out. And a lot of this is covering up our distressed areas. But I think I'm going to intentionally distress this. So I want to get my sponge out. I'm smoothing it down so it's all stuck down. So the areas that I do stencil fully will have all the details showing. This is such a pretty stencil. Okay, let's get a sponge. Do I have my craft sponge or do I just have, let me see. prefer to use my craft sponge. And I don't see it, so I'm going to have to use one of these car sponges. The reason I don't like this is, I'm looking, because it has the square edges. So I'm going to kind of round it off a little bit. Where I'm going to put okay, there we go. Hopefully that'll help. Don't want any sharp corners or edges. So it's kind of rounded, can you tell? That's my goal. So that's the area I'm going to stencil with. That's just one of those car wash sponges, also from Dollar Tree. I don't know where my crafting sponges are. They're rounded. All right, so to do that, we will also be using a squeegee, and I'm going to dollop out using a stir stick. All of this is from Magnolia Design Co. There is a link in the description that takes you to my shop, so let me tell you what these are. This is the Gratitude Stencil. This is a cut-apart squeegee. These are stir sticks, and the color I'm using is called Almond Latte. This is chalk paste. We also have ink. Now the paste and the ink are both made to wash off the stencil. That's why we don't use acrylic paint, chalk paint, spray paint, any other kind of paint with these stencils, because it won't wash off and you won't be able to reuse it. Now if you don't care that you don't reuse it again, that's fine. You can use that. But I want to reuse my stencils. I can 8 to 10 times if I take good care of them. So I use our chalk paste or our ink. Ink is made mostly for fabric, like we did this t-shirt. It's also made for tea towels, aprons, tote bags, pillow covers, banners, baby onesies, or kids t-shirts, all kinds of things. All kinds of fabric is what you'd use ink for, which similar colors are available in ink. But this one is chalk paste, which is handy for hard surfaces. Let me find, oh, there's the stir stick. Give it a good stir. It was a little bit thick last time I used it, but all I had to do was add a little distilled water to thin it down. You don't want it thin like paint. You want it to be kind of creamy, like sour cream. Makes it a little easier to control, and it won't bleed under the design of the stencil. Let's see, set that there. All right, so here's my plan. I am going to, I can see the areas I distressed. I am going to use my sponge. Let me dish some of it out into a dish so my sponge won't be going into the container, because it might have a contaminant in it, in the sponge, and I don't want to contaminate my paste jar, because I want this paste jar to sit on my shelf for as long as it takes to use this paste, and I don't want it growing anything. So if you have to thin down your paste because it's thick, only use distilled water. That's not tap water, that's not bottled water, it is distilled water, and it's really inexpensive. I get a jug of it for like $2 at Walmart. All right, so I'm going to dab this in, okay, and I am going to just, let me start over here in this area and dab off some of it. I'm just going to lightly dab the area that is going to show some distress, okay. Take some of it off. So I'm just lightly dabbing those areas to start with, because I can see where they are, okay? In fact, I can take some back off with a clean spot of, it's just going to be really light, okay? Now, let's go in with our squeegee for the rest of it. And I might not be perfect in missing, whoops, there's another area that's distressed. Okay, I think I got it. All right, so we're going to start up here at the top. I am going to go ahead and squeegee all the way up to these areas that I have distressed, okay? And I'm going to do this in sections. Start here. If you can see, I'm skipping the areas, excuse me, that I sponged, and I am going to come back and blend with them. Okay, so we're coming a little closer in here, a little closer in here. Okay, clean off my excess. Doesn't have to be perfect right here because we're going to use the sponge in just a second. Let's go ahead and get all this area done. Again, we're going to come up to this area. Right around it. And you'll get to see how this looks here in a couple of seconds. We will pull this off so you can start to see what it's going to look like. All right, now I'm going to sponge around it to soften those areas. And this is a very busy stencil. I'm not really sure this is going to show as well as I'm hoping, but we're going to try. Let's take a peek. See, it's just a little distressed. Can you see? Pick it up and show you. See, it just missed that one right there and there. You can just barely tell it missed those areas. Okay, so that's what look we're going for. Let me press this down where we haven't applied the paste yet, and I'm going to turn it around. Hopefully you can still see what we're doing. I'm going to get this on my stir stick so that it's a little easier to spread, so I don't have to dig down in the bottom of my little bottle there. Okay, there's a distressed area there I missed. So I am going to, there's a hair. I'm going to work around this little area here. Okay, and this word enough is one of them also. And I'm going to go ahead while we're here and just soften that up. Okay. Let's keep going. Now I didn't have to do all of the distressed areas to start with. I didn't have to. I could have just done sections and decide to distress along the way. I still can. I'll show you. Let's get this. I want the rest of the word done. Maybe I'll distress right here on the G. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to distress this spot. I'm going to add a little bit more here, and we're going to take basically some, and take some off and lightly sponge over this area so it has some lightness to it. There we go. Okay, get that area again, and let's finish. Let's get the rest of this done. And distress right underneath the G also, just to carry that out. This was a distressed area. And clean off my excess. And I know I can start putting some of this back in the jar because it's not contaminated. I was using what was over here in the little tray. Now let's soften this area that we didn't originally have distressed. And around the sky that was originally distressed. Okay. I'm softening up the edges so they're not super heavy. This area needs a little bit more. Okay. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, it looks good. Oh, it looks good. I need to do a little bit more on the word enough. You can't really read it. Ooh, it's sticking. Add a little bit more. There we go. Oh, that looks pretty good. There we go. What do you think? Let me stick this here and I'll take it to my sink after we're totally done. I want to take my glasses off, but I want to look at it. Can you see? Okay, look at the letter G. See how we distressed that? And then the word enough. It's just lightly distressed in a couple of areas. Now, there are other ways to distress it, guys. You don't have to do it this way. Let me tell you, you can also choose to distress it after all of the paste is dry. I haven't been looking at your comments. Yeah, Constance, it was, yeah, the phone was goofy. Oh, you do like it, good. So once all of this paste is completely dry, there is an option you can sand, okay? And I might even come back and sand a little bit to accent the areas that we already distressed so that it's a little more obvious rather than it looking like I just messed up. So let's go ahead and get this all dry. The only issue I have with sanding it is when I have sanded, it tends to smear. And I can't get the paste that's dry that then kind of powders up. I can't get it lifted back off. It just wants to go into that area of the design and stay there. So it doesn't look as distressed as I wanted it to. That's why I went lighter in those areas with the paste. So let me do this spot right here and see how it goes. It's not a big spot. So I want to make sure all of my paste is 100% dry, just like we did with the paint. Where did I get the surface? Linda, or Suzanne, sorry. This came from Dollar Tree. It's a turntable in the $5 section of the plus area of Dollar Tree. Okay, so that should be dry. And it's okay that I've got black on my sandpaper because we're kind of blending with the black anyway. So I'm going to just lightly come in here and add a little more distress and see what happens is the paste, can you see right in here? It starts to kind of powder up and then bleed out into the paint. If you have a painted surface, that happens. So we're going to come back in with a wet wipe to kind of swipe that off a little bit and clean off some of what I distressed. Now this is wet. It can act as a activator for the paste and then make it smear. So I don't want to do too much of that. Let's dry this. That looks good. Here's another spot that I did not distress with the paste, or at least I didn't do enough. So I'm gonna there. Let me get a new dry paper towel because I think I tossed my other one. Okay, I'm gonna look for a couple more spots. Right here. Let's bring it out a little bit more here. There. Now it looks a little more intentional. Bring this out here. That's a little wet. Hang on, let's dry it. I can feel the tackiness of it. Maybe you need to let it dry longer. You mean as far as smearing goes? No, the fact is this is a wet wipe and that activated the paste. So if you can avoid using a wet wipe, do that. I just wanted to get the dry paint cleaned off. Okay. So I'm bringing this edge out because there was a little bit of a harsh line. Not bad, not bad. Let me do this one a little bit more here. Dry paper towel is the best option on that too. So it did, see how this color right here is a little bit light because of the fact that I did the paste afterward, okay? Just a tip there. I'm going to see if I can take some of it off. There. I'll do this too. You can see I did take some of the paste off, just very lightly dabbing, not pressing with my finger. So that looks a little bit better now. What do you think? Do you like the distressing? I feel like I need to do more of it. I feel like it needs more distressing, but it's okay. Let me see if I can take this down to the wood tone right in here. Take some of my extra paste off outside of the letter. Ooh, that looks good. That looks better. I like it. I like it. I think I like what's come out. I don't think I about it. What I did is I sanded this down just a little bit extra to get down to the wood, and then I used my wipe to wipe off the paste that kind of got outside of the lines and into the paint. What do you think? Do you like it? I think it's so pretty. This is the look I was wanting. So the last thing I will do is I'll take it down to my garage and I am going to give it several coats of clear sealer. If you want it to have a glossy finish, use a gloss, semi-gloss, satin, whatever you like. I'm going to use matte, and the top and edges of this will get at least 3 good coats, probably more like 5, so that we can use it and I don't have to worry about anything damaging the design, even though it'll just look more distressed than it does now. But that's it. What do you think? You like it? Well, thank you guys. Okay, so it's a Dollar Tree turntable in the $5 section. We used black chalk paint, missed a few areas on purpose, came back and sanded a few areas to distress it, especially the edges. I'm going to do more distressing along these edges like we did right there. And then I'm going to seal it. The stencil is called Gratitude. It's from Magnolia Shop. I also used almond latte paste. And to do the stenciling, it helps to have some kind of a towel to fuzz it on, so you can use a tea towel or a t-shirt or our tacky towel. And then you'll have to have a squeegee to apply the paste, but you can use something else for your stir stick or your little tray if you want to. But you can get all those things at Magnolia. If you have questions, let me know. I do have a video that's coming in later in the week here on YouTube, and then the rest of the week you'll see some things pop in on my Facebook page, and I will add that information in the description of the video. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it, guys. I will get this done quick and post a picture with the video, so when you come back to watch later, you'll get to see the finished one. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.